GigNet every fourth Monday at 7 p.m. W5SC. W5SC.
Skynet in about 1 minute. This is N5BB, net control.
Q5BHQ, don't want to interrupt, but can I ask real quick before you start, what is Skynet?
It's a net talking about astronomy and space, N5BB.
Gotcha, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I need to make myself very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That is correct, sir.
Skynet.
Does anybody need to use the repeater before I start Skynet? This is N5BB.
Good evening. The time is 9 p.m.
Bill, N5BB, I'll be your net control for this session of the Dallas Amateur Radio Club Skynet. Skynet is a weekly net called every Saturday night at 9 p.m. concerning the subject of astronomy and space. Our purpose is to help amateurs become more familiar with the nighttime and daytime sky, astronomy, and space in general. This net is open to all amateurs interested in this topic. We encourage your participation, your comments, and your suggestions for this net. Stations with priority emergency traffic may enter the net at any time by using the pro sign break in your call sign. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? The directed net, please do not transmit without direction from your net control, N5BB. Stations are amended to identify the end of your transmissions. This weekly net operates on 146.88 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9. Check-ins via Echolink are also possible using a W5FC-R station ID or Echolink node 37247. Tonight's topics, astronomy charts, pictures, and live audio-video links are available online. Go to www.w5fc.org right now for the complete list. Remember to tell others about this popular net. You can now check in the net electronically by going to the club website, w5fc.org. Look for tonight's announcement and check on the hot link to check in. I will know when you checked in over there on the hot link. We'll acknowledge you on the air, and don't worry, if you want to check in via voice, we'll continue to do that too. All amateur operators are welcome. You do not need to be a member of any amateur radio club to participate. The net is 90 minutes long, structured in several parts. I'll go through these very fast. General announcements, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas, National Space Society, recent astronomical discoveries, discussion topic of the evening, was up, space exploration and space history, constellation of the week, space launches of the week, visible satellite passengers over the next couple of days, and astronomical questions and answers. All amateurs licensed to transmit on this frequency are invited to check in. We currently have the following people checked in via the link. K5MCD, hello Cody. K5ICX, hello Tom. NT5TM, Tony. And Bird City. And W5LIG, hi Dale. And Chaz, with Bob the Cat as his sidekick. KF5JHA, hello Chaz and Bob. Now let's start with short-time check-ins. If you can't stay very long, please check in now. Short time check-ins. Come down with your call sign, your name, and where you're transferring from. This is N5BB.
AJ5, Hotel X-Ray Sierra, Corey, Merlin. Kilo 5, Juliet, Delta Whiskey, John and Coppell. Alpha Bravo 5, Delta Mike, Dustin in Dallas. Echo 5, Lima, Zulu Echo, Randy in Carrollton. Maybe a long time.
As the following short-time check-ins, KJ5HXS, hello RE, K5JDW, hey John, AB5DM, Dustin, and KE5LZE, Randy. Do we have other short-time check-ins for Skynet?
KI5, BHQ, Kilo India 5, Baker Henry, Quebec. His name is Freddie in Dallas, Texas right now.
Recognize Freddie, KF5BHQ. Do we have any other short-time check-ins, or does any of those short-time people have anything they need to say to the net before they leave?
November 5, Romeo Hotel, Justin, Red Oak.
Ian?
November 5, Romeo Hotel.
I'm sorry, Justin, I was distracted. N5RH. Hey, Justin, we have you. One last try. Any other short-time check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB Net Control. We're going to wait until later for Echolink check-ins. I'm looking at Echolink here. So, do we have any RF check-ins? Time for RF check-ins. If you'd like to check into Skynet, please come down with your call sign, your name, and location. This is N5BB Net Control.
This is Whiskey Bravo 4, Mike, Foxtrot, India, WD4MFI, Head, Dallas, low power. Kilo, Golf, 5, Uniform, Foxtrot, Romeo, Jacob, Farmers Branch. This is Whiskey 5, Golf, Uniform, Sierra, Gus, far northeast Dallas. Kilo, Foxtrot 5, Zulu, Bravo, Lima, Bill, Farmers Branch. This is Alpha 5, Alpha Hotel, Robert Richardson.
Recognize WB4MFI, Jacob, KG5UFR, Gus, W5GUS, Bill, K5ZBL, and Robert, AA5AH. Do we have any other RF check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Whiskey Victor Lima, James in Carrollton.
Recognize James in Carrollton, KG5U, KG5WVL. And over on the check-in form from the website, I recognize W1FLR, Ray and Wiley, KF5JTA, Daryl in McLeod, Texas, and NZ5S, Virginia and Fort Worth. Welcome to you all. Do we have any other check-ins via any mode? Excuse me. Let's move on to Echolink. I recognize, well, Daryl, KF5JTA, has already checked in on the form. So I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? Do we have any other check-ins that I might have missed? If so, please come now with your name, your call sign, your name, and location. This is N5BB, Skynet. Okay, let's look for general announcements. This is anything about amateur radio, astronomy, space, or something of general interest to hams. If you have any such items, please come now with your call sign only. November Tango 5, Tango Mike. PM, go right ahead, Tony. Good evening, Bill. Well, for those of you who thought Cat Women of the Moon was too sophisticated or too high budget, we have a film for you. Join tonight's Afterglow movie discussion 10:30 p.m. Our topic will be Missile to the Moon from 1958. This is a missile I would rather have missed. The dark meeting on the air will take place tomorrow on this repeater at 7 p.m. Of course, that's open to all hams. We hope you'll share what's been going on in your ham world. And the Dallas Races Training Net will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. The meeting is again open to all hams, but the Races Training Net takes check-ins only from Races appointees. NT5TM, back to net. Very good, Tony. Do we have any questions for Tony about his items, or do we have any other news items? This is N5BB, Skynet. Recognize Jimmy, KD5LQD on Echolink. Do we have any other check-ins? Okay, I have one short announcement. Amateur radio operators quite often care about emergency power. And a common way to get emergency power is for batteries and solar power. Every year, the American Solar Energy Society holds some events they call the National, I'm losing my track of mind here. Hang on. Something else happened here that distracted me. It's called the National Solar Tour. The American Solar Energy Society National Solar Tour. And it's normally this weekend, October 4th, 5th, and 6th. Tomorrow there'll be an open house at my house in Irving for the solar tour. The times will be from noon until 5 p.m. You can find out more by going to tour.byrom.net. That's tour.byrom.net. And you can click on the top link, and you'll be able to find out more. And you scroll to the very bottom of that page, and you'll see the exact time and location. So if you have any other questions, you can contact me via my email address on QRZ. So do we have any questions about that, or do we have any additional news items or check-ins? This is Inside BB Skynet in progress. Recognize Clay in 5OS. Hello, Clay. Do you have any questions, or are you just checking in?
I'm just checking in. Thanks a lot. That's good.
Okay. The AMSAT, the satellite group, has multiple nets available. Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. There is a national AMSAT net on Echolink. You can go and look for Star AMSAT, Star, on Echolink, under groups. Then locally here we have the AMSAT EastNet on Tuesday evenings. So it's every Tuesday except for the first Tuesday of the month. This month, the reason is we have the Dallas Amateur Radio Club meeting. But that meeting was last week. So there will be an AMSAT net this coming Tuesday, October the 8th. The net is on this repeater, the 88 repeater, and it starts at 8 p.m. Then on Wednesday evenings, we have another satellite net at 9 p.m. on the Arlington repeater, 147.140 megahertz, with a PL tone of 110.9 and a positive offset. The Dallas Amateur Radio Club has a bunch of different nets on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Check the W5SC.org website. And this coming Monday, it will be a ham fixings net, the cooking net, which is always on the first Monday of the month, which will be tomorrow. Okay. Saturdays are the night of nets. We have TechNet on 7 p.m. on this repeater, Skynet from 9 p.m. to 10:30. And at 10:30 we have the Afterglow net. Tony read a little bit about that. This net is going to be the movie Missile to the Moon. Missile to the Moon. And we'll be talking about that at 10:30. And we have the meeting on the air that will be tomorrow, as I believe Tony said. It will be at 7 p.m. on from this repeater. Okay. Every night we have the traffic net on this repeater, the ARL message traffic net at 6:30 p.m. And then the late traffic net is at 9:30 p.m. on the Irving 146.72 megahertz repeater. Okay. Now, do we have any additional check-ins? This is Skynet inside BB Net Control. Next, we have Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events. Chaz, would you like to tell us about the TAS? KF5JHA, this is N5BB.
Thanks, Bill. I guess I'll do it because Bobcat's not talking to me right now. Of course, he doesn't talk to me anyway. He just meows. Oh, the next Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas meeting will be held on Friday, October the 25th, and the meeting will be held at 7:30 p.m. in person at the University of Texas at Dallas. That's on Campbell Road. There's also a Zoom component, too. Saturday night public observing sessions continue. Skynet was picked to be on Saturday night, so there could be an opportunity for live reports from the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas public observing sessions. Now, on the first Saturday of the month, that would be tonight, stargazing is held at Fairview. I wonder if there's anybody out there. Do we have a ham radio operator at the stargazing that would like to make a report? If so, come now with your call sign. Fairview drew more than 100 people to it. I think the stargazers are probably pretty busy if they're doing the same thing tonight. Weather's beautiful. I hope all of you were out there taking a look at the moon and the planet Venus earlier. Okay, so check the TAS website at texasastro.org for up-to-date information and details about meetings and public observing sessions. And this is KF5JHA, back to our net control N5BB.
Okay, this is N5BB. KF5JTA, you're asking about T-space CRB. Does anybody know what T-space CRB is?
Bill, this is KF5JHA. I think they're talking about T Corona Borealis status. As of this moment, it has not gone nova yet. This is KF5JHA.
Okay. There you go. Hope that answers the question. Do we have any additional check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet. Next is the National Space Society events. I happen to be the membership director and now the vice president of the National Space Society North Texas chapter. National Space Society is a nonprofit group based in the U.S. which is interested in the exploration and development of space and the creation of a spacefaring civilization. The North Texas chapter of the National Space Society meets at 3th and Spring Creek Barbecue on the southwest corner of Highway 183 and Beltline Road in Irving. On the last Friday of the month, at 6 to 8 p.m., the North Texas chapter sponsors a social event called Space Rendezvous. Location is Cheddar's Restaurant, 700 West Highway 635 in Irving. Anyone is welcome to attend and discuss human activities in space with us. No membership in any group is required. Our local chapter website is ntx.nss.org. Our group also has an active Facebook page. Just search for National Space Society of North Texas on Facebook. The October meeting of the National Space Society will be on Sunday afternoon, October the 13th, starting at 3:30 p.m. at Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving. I believe the topic will be rovers and robots. The presentation will be by Cynthia and Dietrich Wismond. They are both hams, used to live in Dallas and now live in Northeast Texas. That's all I've got there. Do we have any other check-ins, comments, or questions? This is N5BB, Skynet. Okay. Looking at Echolink and the web form, I don't see any other check-ins. Tom, would you like to read the recent astronomical discoveries this evening? K5I-CX. This is N5BB. Take it away, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. This is KE5ICX over in Corpus Christi. Yay. Here's some information for you. This was actually provided by Brenda. She's off this evening, so I said I would read it for her. So here we go. NASA's Webb Space Telescope finds potential missing link to first stars. This comes from Science Daily, and it was published here 2 days ago. And it says, looking deep into the early universe with NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, astronomers have found something unprecedented, a galaxy with an odd light signature, which they attribute to its gas outshining its stars. Found approximately 1 billion years after the Big Bang, galaxy GSNDG 9422 may be the missing link phase of galactic evolution between the universe's first stars and familiar, well-established galaxies. It says, my first thought in looking at the galaxy spectrum was, that's weird, which is exactly what the Webb Space Telescope is designed to reveal. Totally new phenomena in an early universe that will help us understand how the cosmic story began, said lead researcher Alex Cameron at the University of Oxford. Cameron reached out to colleagues Harley Katz, a theorist, to discuss the strange data. Working together, their team found the computer models of cosmic gas clouds heated by very hot, massive stars to an extent that the gas shone brighter than the stars themselves, with nearly a perfect match to Webb's observations. It looks like these stars must be much hotter and more massive than we see in the local universe, which makes sense because the early universe was a very different environment, says Katz of Oxford and the University of Chicago. In the local universe, typical hot, massive stars have a temperature ranging between 70,000 and 90,000 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the team, 9422 has stars hotter than 140,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The research team suspects the galaxy is in the midst of a brief phase of intense star formation inside a cloud of dense gas that is producing a large number of massive hot stars. The gas cloud is being hit with so many photons of light from the stars that it's shining extremely brightly. In addition to its novelty, a nebular gas outshining stars is intriguing because it is something predicted in the environments of the universe's first generation of stars, which astronomers classify as population 3 stars. We know that this galaxy does not have population 3 stars because the Webb data shows too much chemical complexity. However, its stars are different than what we are familiar with. The exotic stars in this galaxy could be a guide for understanding how galaxies transition from primordial stars to the types of galaxies we already know, said Katz. At this point, Galaxy 9422 is one example of this phase of galaxy development, so there are still many questions to be answered. Are these conditions common in galaxies at this time period, or a rare occurrence? What more can they tell us about even earlier phases of galaxy evolution? Cameron, Katz, and their research colleagues are actively identifying more galaxies to add to this population to better understand what is happening in the universe within the first billion years after the Big Bang. It's a very exciting time to be able to use the Webb telescope to explore this time in the universe that was once inaccessible, Cameron said. We are just at the beginning of new discoveries and understanding. The research paper is published in monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society. And that's it on this one, Bill. Back to you, KE5ICX.
Thank you very much, Tom. Do we have any other questions or comments for Tom or any check-ins? This is N5BB, Skynet. And no additional check-ins seen. Okay, so the next topic is a topic of the evening, discussion of the evening by the net control. So that's my topic, and the topic is that there is a, somebody changed it. There is some recent discoveries that indicates there's probably a super Mars planet, exoplanet, orbiting Barnard star, which is near Earth. So claims of worlds orbiting Barnard star have been made before, but an advanced instrument could provide the breakthrough that finally confirms the star hosts a planetary system. This article, I'll read part of it, is by John Wentz in Scientific American magazine, published, I believe, yesterday. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but astronomers just found a planet around Barnard star, which is about 6 years away. 6 light years away. It's the second closest stellar system to the Sun. It's not the first time claims of planets orbiting Barnard stars have been they've cropped up repeatedly for more than a half century, only to be debunked. But this one, reported in the journal Astronomy and Astrophysics, appears to be on more solid footing. That's because the researchers behind the study spent years lavishing the star with attention from one of Earth's most advanced planet-hunting instruments, mindfully avoiding many of the pitfalls that undermined their predecessors. That work, in fact, has produced more than just one newfound world, tentative suggestions of 3 more candidate planets lurk within their data. This is N5BB, Skynet. We have been collecting data from 2018 until now on this star, says Janae I. Gonzalez Hernandez, a staff research scientist at the Institute of Astrophysics of the Canary Islands, and the lead author of the paper. The team's efforts focused on the star's so-called habitable zone, a circumstellar region in which starlight could sufficiently heat a planet to allow liquid water to exist on its surface. At first, the researchers saw nothing, but as we got more and more data, we realized something was starting to appear. This is N5BB, Skynet. Just because the world resides in the star's habitable zone, however, doesn't mean it's a nice place to live. For instance, the confirmed planet and its 3 candidate companions are all estimated to be less massive than Earth, meaning they could have a harder time holding on to an appreciable atmosphere. The confirmed planet is also apparently the biggest, at nearly 40% the weight of our world, while the 3 candidates range from between the estimated masses of about 1/5 to 1/3 that of the Earth. For comparison, Venus weighs in at just more than 80% of the Earth's mass, and Mars is a mere 1/10 of our planet's mass. Mercury is much lighter, and Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter are all far heavier than the Earth. That means the masses of these probable Barnard star worlds place them in a planetary class unknown to our familiar solar system. They're stars that are, planets much larger than Mars, but significantly smaller than Venus or Earth. Astronomers have found similar oddballs before, a handful of so-called super Jupiters, and oodles of super Earths orbiting alien suns. Now apparently they found a super Mars system too, around one of our nearest stellar neighbors. This is N5BB, Skynet in progress. Like the existence of the three candidates themselves, however, the planet's super-Mars statuses could be illusionary. The radial velocity technique, which is used to uncover these and many other possible worlds, can only set lower limits on any putative planet's mass. That's because the method only indirectly infers the presence of planets. By measuring how their gravitational tug makes the star wobble to and from along our line of sight as they twirl around it. The larger the wobble, the heftier the world responsible for it. But the planet's orbit around its star isn't seen edge-on from Earth. Radial velocity measurements will only reveal a fraction of its full pull. Even for giant planets, this wobble is tiny, on the order of hundreds of meters of motion per second for an entire star. This is N5BB, Skynet. As tiny as that seems, the wobble to small worlds usually manifests as motions approximately 10 times smaller still. Astronomers discern such subtleties by using a spectrograph to split the star's light into its constituent colors, looking for Doppler shifts in the rainbow-like spectrum. Instantaneous detections are rare. Instead, evidence of a wobble generally builds over weeks, months, or even years of observing time as planets complete their orbit. Astronomers have employed the method for planet hunting since the 1980s, and researchers used it to discover and confirm the first exoplanet around a Sun-like star in 1995. The studies confirmed planet orbits Barnard star in 3.15 Earth days. Very fast. While the three candidates appear to have respective orbits of 4.12, 2.34, astonishingly sophisticated piece of hardware, able to reach precisions unimaginable 30 years ago. This is N5BB, Skynet. From the beginning, our priorities were to search for Earth-like planets orbiting nearby stars, says Gonzalez Hernandez. In 2022, the same team also reported the detection of a small planet around our solar system's nearest neighboring star, Proxima Centauri. Itself part of Alpha Centauri, the multi-star system that is closest to us. Espresso's success in finding such small planets is a promising sign for the future of the radial velocity technique, suggesting that even more diminutive worlds may yet be within its reach. It's quite impressive how they managed to pull out the signals, because this new instrument reached a level of precision that we couldn't do before, says Mercedes Lopez Morales, Associate Director for Science at the Space Telescope Science Institute. Lopez Morales, who was not involved in the study, admits she was skeptical when she first read the paper, especially because of how minuscule the wobbles were for the claimed planet and its candidate kin alike. But as she dove into the methodological details and sought to shore up the soundness of its measurements, she became convinced of the work's strengths. I still do think that the researchers need a lot more data, but the analysis says it studies atmospheric dynamics of exoplanets and says that these planets are unlikely to have an atmosphere because of their close proximity to their host star. Barnard star is only about 16% of the mass of the Sun. It's a so-called M-dwarf star that shines far fainter than our own. Despite their small size, though, M-dwarfs are also prone to violent outbursts in the first few million years of their existence, ejecting monstrous flares that can strip the atmospheres of many planets in their way. With no atmosphere, such worlds offer no chance for liquid water, life's cornerstone, to persist on their surface. The 3.15-day orbit of the new study's confirmed planet, however, makes it likely too hot to hold on to water anyway, even with an atmosphere. Some of the candidate worlds may be a little more temperate, according to the paper. To these latest results, Barnard star has been associated with at least two controversial planetary claims. One from the 1960s, traced to an optical flaws in a telescope. Another in 2018, shown to be run-of-the-mill stellar activity arising from the star's rotation. Okay, I'm going to stop reading there. There's nothing really additionally that's added to the rest of the article. So, end of article. Before we continue with Chaz, or was up, let's see if we have any additional check-ins. Over on Echolink, I see Bill, W5BLT. Bill, you want to come in on audio? BLT, are you there, Bill? Well, if you're listening, Bill, I'll check you out. Okay, let's see. The web form has W5BLT, and that's all. Okay, do we have any additional check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB, net control.
Kilo Oscar 4 Whiskey, Charlie X-Ray. Kilo Oscar 4 Whiskey, Charlie X-Ray. Paul in North Carolina.
Paul, please give the first three letters of your call again.
Kilo Oscar 4, K-O-4.
Very good. I recognize KO4WCX, Paul in North Carolina, which is not, he's not on Echolink, so he must be coming out of All-Star. Coming out of All-Star?
That's correct, All-Star.
Okay. Very good, Paul. Welcome to our net. Do we have any other check-ins to Skynet? Kilo
India 5, Papa Golf Mike. Travis and Garland. Kilo India 5, Juliet Tango Alpha in McLeod, Texas. This is Daryl.
Very good. KF5PGM Travis, KF5JTA. Hello, Daryl. Okay, do we have any other check-ins to Skynet?
Net control, please check in Kilo Golf 4 Whiskey Delta Zulu, Jim and Richardson. Good evening, sir.
Jim? Okay, please confirm Jim and Richardson, Kilo Delta 4 Whiskey Delta Zulu. Is that correct?
Net control, it's actually Kilo Golf 4 Whiskey Delta Zulu, over.
Please confirm it's Whiskey, excuse me. Kilo Golf 4 Whiskey Delta Zulu. Is that correct?
Affirmative net control.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jim. KG4 WDZ. We got you, Jim. Do we have any other check-ins to Skynet? This is N5 BB net control. What's up? KF5JHA, this is N5 BB.
Oh, the name of the segment is What's Up. Oh, okay. Slide Master for the video version. Slide number 2, please. We call this segment of Skynet What's Up because it's all about what's going on astronomically over the next couple of weeks and beyond. Okay, Slide Master, slide number 3. Today, on October the 5th, I was able to take this picture of the sun using a solar filter on my ZWO C-Star. The large sunspot complexes on the sun were visible by using just your solar eclipse glasses today. Now the sun is near its 11-year solar maximum, and we've talked about the solar cycle in the past on past Skynet. Right now we're under a G3 geomagnetic storm watch because we've had a series of 3 major CMAs that have happened over the last couple of days, and we could have aurora as far south as Texas tonight and or tomorrow night. So that could be interesting. So stay alert. Spaceweather.com is a good place to go to begin your search on that. Slide Master number 4 slide. Now we talked about the predicted nova of the star T Corona Borealis. Talked about that just a few minutes ago. It may erupt any time. It was predicted to may have already erupted in September. But sometime in the next couple of months, maybe not until the year 2025. It is currently at a brightness at around 10th magnitude, which is much too faint to see with just your 2 eyes. But when it goes nova, it could become as bright as the North Star, which is 2nd magnitude. Now, I can see the North Star with just my 2 eyes from my very bright, light-polluted location in Mesquite. So this could be interesting. It could happen anytime. So if you're familiar with Corona Borealis, the constellation, get your binoculars out and look at it every night. I have a friend, Dennis Harwell. He's been out there tonight already. He's giving me reports. Nope, has gone nova. I took an image of it last night, had not gone nova. Slide Master, slide number 5. There was a comet in the early morning eastern sky during twilight that could be seen with binoculars. C2023A3 T Atlas will only be in the morning sky. Well, it's not in the morning sky anymore. It's really too close to the sun to be able to be seen either in the morning or the evening. But beginning later this week, well, I should say next week, maybe beginning as early as October the 9th, you could see a glimpse of it in the western evening sky. By October the 12th, it should be easily seen with just your two eyes in the evening sky. The picture you see on the video version is one I took last week in the morning sky of the comet. It could be so bright you could see with just your two eyes, even from inside the city, in about a week. Wow, that should be amazing. Slide master, slide number 6, please. New moon was on October the 2nd, so we had a thin crescent moon this evening, and so the current moon's phasing is a waxing crescent. On October the 2nd, the moon was at apogee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is furthest from the Earth at a distance of 406,516 kilometers. On October the 10th is when there's a first quarter moon. On October the 16th, the moon is at perigee, which is the point in the moon's orbit that is closest to the Earth at a distance of 357,175 kilometers. Slide master, slide number 7. Now, tonight really was the peak of last night of the camelopardalis meteor shower, but you could see maybe half a dozen of meteors an hour. Now, the best time to observe meteors is usually the hour before dawn, so after midnight, before twilight tomorrow morning would be a good time to go out and take a look at it if you're away from the city light. Inside the city, you probably won't see very many, if any at all. Now, if you want to get more information about meteors and meteor showers, you can visit the International Meteor Organization at IMO.net or the American Meteor Society at amsmeteors.org. Slide master, slide number 8. On October the 5th, the Moon and Venus are in conjunction in the southwestern evening sky. Slide master, slide number 9. On October the 7th, the bright star Antares and the Moon are in conjunction in the southwestern evening sky. Slide master, slide number 10. And on the night of October 7th and 8th is the peak of the Draconid meteor shower that could produce between half a dozen meteors and maybe up to 1,000 meteors per hour. Now, what will it be this year? You're going to have to go out and find out. Again, the best time to see meteors is usually the hour before dawn, because this is the side of the Earth that's running in to the debris that's left over by comets and asteroids. Okay, this is KF5JJ, and this is Skynet. Slide master, slide number 10, please. Now, do any of you out there in Radio Land have a question or need a fill on any of the information I've given you? Or maybe you just have a general astronomy question. Come now with your call sign if you have a question or need a fill. You didn't ask me where babies come from, because that's a biology question. Slide master, slide number 11. So, as the moon waned last week, so that these words for this segment of Skynet: stay safe, keep well, pray for a world that's the only one where humans live right now. And until next time, actually I'll be doing another segment on Skynet in a few minutes. Keep looking up so you know what's up. And this is KF5JJ, back to our net control in 5BB.
Okay, very good, Chad. Thank you very much. Do we have any additional check-ins to Skynet or any questions or comments? This is in 5BB, net control. We have space exploration and space history. Kelly isn't here tonight. Tony, NT5TM. I believe you're the designated pinch hitter. Take it away, Tony, NT5TM in 5BB.
Thank you, Bill. So first, some Artemis news. Gateway's Habitation and Logistics Outpost, the HALO, successfully completed static load testing, a rigorous stress test of how well the structure responds to the forces encountered in deep space. Linia Space, subcontractor to Northrop Grumman, conducted the testing in Turin, Italy. Static load testing is one of the major environmental stress tests that HALO will undergo, and once all phases of testing are complete, the module will be ready to move away from Italy to Gilbert, Arizona, where Northrop Grumman will complete final outfitting. HALO is one of 4 pressurized gateway modules where astronauts will live, conduct science, and prepare for missions to the lunar South Pole region. It will launch with Gateway's power and propulsion element on a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket to lunar orbit. Gateway is humanity's first lunar space station, supporting a new era of exploration and scientific discovery as part of NASA's Artemis campaign that will establish a sustained presence on and around the moon, paving the way for the first crewed mission to Mars. In space history this week, I guess it's time for slide 2, September 29th. The Salyut, that just means hello in Russian, 6th space station launched into orbit. This was the 8th space station the Soviet Union launched under its Hello, or Salyut program, and the first second-generation Salyut. Unlike its predecessors, it was designed to be easily replenished with consumable supplies in orbit and to accommodate long-duration crewed missions. Over the course of its 5 years in operation, 16 cosmonaut crews visited the station. The longest anyone stayed there was 185 days. The space station deorbited in 1982 and burned up in Earth's atmosphere. Slide 3, in 1988, Space Shuttle Discovery roared off its launch pad at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The STS-26 mission returned American astronauts to space after a 32-month hiatus following the January 1986 Challenger accident that took the lives of 7 astronauts. A presidential commission investigating the accident identified proximate hardware and NASA organizational causes. The agency spent 2 years correcting the problems. Discovery's 5-man crew of Rick Hawk, Dick Covey, Mike Lounge, David Hilmers, and George Nelson completed a 4-day mission and conducting science and technology experiments. The return-to-flight mission ended with a touchdown at Edwards Air Force Base in California. On September 30th, we reached slide 4. In 1995, Pioneer 11's scientific mission came to an end when NASA received the last transmission from the spacecraft. Pioneer 11 was the first human probe to reach Saturn. Originally scheduled to visit just Jupiter, scientists decided to add to Pioneer 11's mission in mid-flight, sending the craft to Saturn by using Jupiter's strong gravitational pull. Pioneer 11 visited Saturn's outer rings to collect data to aid the Voyager 2 missions, which flew by only 2 years later. At Saturn, Pioneer 11 discovered 2 new moons, Saturn's F-ring, the planet's magnetic field, and mapped Saturn's general interior. After the Saturn flyby in 1979, Pioneer 11 remained in contact for another 16 years. Not bad for a craft originally designed for a 21-month mission. Currently, Pioneer 11 is traveling silently in the direction of the constellation Scutum. On October 2nd, 1608, Dutch spectacle maker Hans Lippershey was the first to apply for a patent on the design for a telescope. Lippershey's patent was denied because actually several other spectacle makers applied for a patent at about the same time. The Dutch government, though, did richly reward Lippershey for several binocular versions of his design. Less than a year later, the famous Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei designed a telescope of his own upon hearing of the device. On October 3rd, 1967, the X-15 experimental rocket plane set the unofficial speed record for piloted aircraft, reaching 4,520 miles per hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. That's Mach 6.72. The X-15, a NASA, U.S. Air Force, and U.S. Navy research craft, was designed to study high-speed flight. This flight was piloted by Air Force Major Pete Knight. Although not an official aviation record as verified by the World Air Sports Federation, FAI, The flight was extremely well documented, and no piloted aircraft has ever flown faster. The X-15 had a rocket engine and was air-launched from a B-52 bomber at about 45,000 feet before flying upwards into the upper atmosphere. In addition to setting the speed record on October 3rd, on an earlier flight, the X-15 also set the record for highest altitude, soaring 354,200 feet above the Earth. The altitude record stood until 2004 when it was finally broken by Spaceship One. This record-breaking aircraft is on display at the Air Force Museum at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio.
Good evening.
On October 4th, 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first ever artificial satellite into orbit, ushering in the space age. They called it Sputnik, which means fellow traveler or companion in Russian. Sputnik could be seen orbiting in the night sky with its distinct beeping telemetry broadcast around the world. NASA was formed within a year of the Soviet satellite's launch. And now for some astronaut birthdays. September 29th, 1942, Bill Nelson. He flew on STS-61C as a congressional observer. They jokingly called him Ballast Bill. But hey, he's the current NASA administrator now. He's come up in the world. September 29th, 1956, James Halsell. He had a number of space shuttle flights, ending on STS-101. September 30th, 1964, Stephen Frick, who had 2 shuttle flights. October 1st, 1964, Eric Boe had 2 shuttle flights. Charlie Duke was born on October 3rd, 1935. He flew on Apollo 16. The famous Catherine Sullivan was born on October 3rd, 1951. She had 3 shuttle flights and conducted the first EVA ever by an American woman. October 4th, 1957 was the birthday of Gregory Linteris. I'm not sure if I said that right, but he had 2 shuttle flights. October 5th, 1929 was the birthday of Richard Dick Gordon Jr., who flew on Gemini 11 and Apollo 12. And last but not least, October 5th, 1958 marked the birthday of Brent Jett Jr., great name for an astronaut. He had 4 flights on the shuttle. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This is NT5TM. Sorry, I was distracted. Was that all, Tony, in 5BB? Yes, sir, NT5TM. Back to net control, and thank you, everybody, for listening. Okay, thank you. I got distracted. Yeah, I was listening over there on Echolink, and yeah, you're overloading the Echolink thing. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Are there any questions, comments, or additional check-ins? This is N5BB, net control for Skynet. I see KC5JQ. KC5JQ. Would you like to check in on audio and tell us your name and location, please?
Good evening, it's KC5JQ, Jeff in Fort Worth.
Very good, Jeff. Recognize KC5JQ on Echolink in Fort Worth. Do we have any additional check-ins, comments, or questions before we continue with Skynet? This is N5BB Net Control. Kilo Juliet 5, Golf Oscar Tango, John in Dallas.
Recognize KJ5GOT. Do you have any other check-ins? Time for Chaz again. KF5JHA, this is N5BB. What's the constellation of the week, Chaz?
I'll let you know in just a moment. Thank you, Bill. Flight Master Flight number 12. Miss Carolyn's constellation of the week this week is named in honor of Silent Key, Carolyn, KC50ZT. Carolyn contributed to Skynet each week, almost from its beginning in 2012 until May of 2019, with a detailed look at one particular constellation each week. Now, since there are about 52 easily visible constellations seen on North Texas throughout the year out of the 88 total number of constellations, so Miss Carolyn covered the entire sky as seen over North Texas in a year. And in her honor, we've continued that tradition of a constellation per week and named this segment after her. Miss Carolyn's constellations of the week this week, it's a 2 for 2 constellations at the same time this evening. Pisces Astronus, the Southern Fish, and Grus. What the heck is Grus? I gave a preview of that last week. I asked you that question. It's a crane. A crane called Grus? That's a constellation. Now, what I consider a very important part of Skynet are the jokes of the week, and that's on slide number 13. You hold on to your hats. You're welcome to boo and hiss, by the way, but I can't hear them. It's fine. Where do fish keep their money? In the riverbank, of course. Why did the fish get bad grades? Because it was below sea level. Why didn't fish like playing basketball? They're terrified of nets. Oh, since these are all related to the constellations of the week, that was fish ones. How about ones about cranes? Lightweight babies are delivered by stork. Heavyweight babies are delivered by a crane. What kind of bird works on the construction site? Well, that's an easy one. A crane. What bird can lift the most? Yeah, okay, a crane. Yeah, okay. And this is KF5JJ, and this is Skynet. Flight Master, slide number 14. Pisces Astronus, the southern fish, is located below Aquarius. The Greeks knew the constellation as the Great Fish and depicted it as swallowing the water poured out by Aquarius, the water bearer. The two fish represented by Pisces, the constellation, were said to be the offspring of the Great Fish, which is Pisces Astronus. Slide Master, slide number 15. Fomalhaut, also known as Alpha Pisces Astronomy. We heard about a topic earlier tonight about Fomalhaut. The name Fomalhaut is derived from the Arabic, which means the mouth of the fish. It's one of the 4 royal stars, or heavenly watchers, of the ancient Mesopotamia, and the others being Regulus, Aldebaran, and Antares. Fomalhaut is the 18th brightest star in the sky, shining at a magnitude of 1.3. It's a main sequence A3 star, about twice the diameter of our sun, and 14 times more luminous. It lies in a distance of 23 light years. Fomalhaut became noteworthy after being the first star to have an extrasolar planet known as Fomalhaut B. That has been imaged in visible light. Yep, we've imaged. That's one of the planets outside our solar system we've actually imaged. LaSalle 9352 is a faint but noble star that lies in the southeastern corner of the constellation, about 1 degree south-southeast of Pi Pisces Astronus. It can be seen in a 50-millimeter finder scope. The star is noted for being the 10th closest star to our solar system and for its very large proper motion. It was the 4th fastest proper motion in the sky of stars. The 3 fastest stars are Barnard star, that's a star in Ophiuchus, Kaplan star and Pictor, and Groombridge in 1839, and Ursa Major. LaSalle 9352 is a red dwarf star of magnitude 7.39, and it has a distance of 11.9 light years. Its luminosity is only 1/85th that of our sun. Number 16. NGC, which stands for New General Catalog, 7314, ARP14, in its Atlas of Peculiar Galaxies noted that NGC 7314 has a spiral with detached segments having almost no nucleus. Dave Hutchinson writes that ARP14 is a magnitude 11 plus spiral galaxy and is classified as a Seyfert galaxy. Seyfert galaxies are active galaxies that show high ionization emission lines. Dave Hutchinson describes NGC 7314 as an easy target for a 16-inch Newtonian. Hey, I got one of those. And reports that some may see this galaxy in a 6-inch telescope. Wow, that's pretty good. NGC 7313, Dave Hutchinson writes that this galaxy is a faint and small companion not very far away from the southwest of NGC 7314, which shines at a magnitude of only 14.39 magnitude. That's very faint. Slide master, slide number 17, please. Dixon Compact Group 90, which is NGC 7173, 7174, and 7176. The 3 galaxies will eventually merge into one. Dixon Compact Group 90, HCG90, is approximately 100 million light years in distance from the Earth. The 3 pictured galaxies, NGC 7173, 7174, and 7176, are part of the Dixon Compact Group named by Paul Hickson, who first cataloged these small clusters of galaxies in the 1980s. NGC 7173 and 7176 appear to be smooth, normal, elliptical galaxies without much gas and dust. In stark contrast, NGC 7174 is a mangled spiral galaxy barely clinging to its independent existence as it is ripped apart by its close neighbors. Slide master, slide number 19. Let's start talking about Grus. Lies in the southern sky and is named after the crane in Latin. The stars in Grus were once part of the constellation Pisces Austrinus. The constellation first appeared in Celestial Atlas in 1603 by Joanna Beer in Unimetria. The early 17th century briefly went by the name of the Flamingo instead of the crane. Grus is the 45th constellation in size and occupies an area of 366 square degrees of the sky. Grus was one of those 12 constellations created by Dutch explorers in the late 16th century. The only connection with the crane with mythology lies in the fact that it was a sacred bird to the god Hermes. Slide master, slide number 20, please. The star Almar, Alpha Grusis, is the brightest star in the constellation, has an apparent magnitude of 1.74, is approximately 101 light years distance from the solar system. Alpha Grusis is either a main sequence star with a stellar classification of B65 or B74, a subgiant. It has a radius of 3.4 times that of the Earth, 4 times the solar mass and is about 263 times more luminous than the Sun. The star's estimated age is about 100 million years. Almair is a rapid rotator with a projected rotational velocity of 215 kilometers per second. Based on the excess infrared emission, the star is believed to have a dust disk in its orbit around the star. Delta Drusus is a binary star. It's composed of a G73 type star with an apparent magnitude of 3.97 and an M4.53 classification of star with a magnitude of 4.17. Under good conditions, both stars are visible to the naked eye. Slide master, slide number 21. Who cares? The Grus Quartet is a group of 4 interacting galaxies: NGC 7552, NGC 7590, NGC 7599, and NGC 7582, located northeast of the star Theta Drusus. All the galaxies are members of the IC 1459 group. The galaxies occupy an area of only 10 arc minutes across, and are sometimes known as the Grus triplet. Slide master, slide number 22. Something called the Spare-Tire Nebula, IC 5148, is a beautiful planetary nebula located about 3,000 light years away. It can be seen about a degree west of the star Lambda Drusus. Nicknamed the Spare-Tire Nebula, it is a diameter of a couple of light years across and one of the fastest expanding planetary nebulas known, with an expansion of 50 kilometers per second. The nebula occupies an area of 2 minutes by 2 minutes and has a visual magnitude of 16.5, which is pretty faint. It lies an approximate distance of 3,000 light years from the Earth. And this is KF5JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide master, slide number 23. Now there's a few more Astronomical League observing program objects in the constellation of Pisces Australis, the Southern Fish, and Grus. I've just given you a sampling of some of those objects. The Astronomical League has, at last count, 74 different observing programs, most of which had about 100 objects. You observe just 10 different objects in an observing program each month, then you can earn an observing certificate and a pen in about a year. Slide master, slide number 24, and that is Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week, Pisces Australis, the Southern Fish, and Grus, the Crane. I want to thank my friends Dave Hutchinson and Dennis Harwell for the research and words on deep sky objects that I've used, borrow, and steal for every Skynet. I also at times use the website constellation-guide.com for information. Now next week we'll take a look at Lacerda, the lizard. And this is KF5JHA, Chaz, saying goodnight, and 73 back to our net control. In 5, BB, it's all yours.
Chaz, do we have any additional check-ins or comments? This is N5BB, Skynet. Chaz?
Yes, thank you very much. KF5JHA.
Okay, just making sure. I was looking for other check-ins. Let's see. I don't see any on the other places. Do we have any additional check-ins on RF? If so, please come down. Hey Tom, K5ICX. How about space launches for the week? This is N5BB.
All right, thank you, Bill. And I'm going to go ahead and after I do the launches, I'll give satellite passes too, since it's next segment right after that. Not a lot this week. In fact, it's been relatively quiet considering how the aggressive launch schedules have been over the last, several years now. But let me see here. We have October 7th coming up. There'll be a Falcon 9 launch, SLC-40 Cape Canaveral. This will be the launch of the Hera European Space Agency mission to study the Didymos binary asteroid system that was impacted by the DART mission back in September of 2022. Then we have to be determined a Falcon 9 launch of OneWeb 20. This will launch from Vandenberg. It will carry a final batch of OneWeb's Gen 1 satellites to low Earth orbit. Nearly 8 minutes after liftoff from Launch Complex 4E, SLC-4E from Vandenberg, the Falcon 9 first stage booster, tail number B1082, everyone's favorite, I'm sure, will return for its touchdown at the landing zone 4, LZ-4. The launch was put on hold due to Falcon 9's second stage problems on the Crew 9 mission. On October 10th is Falcon Heavy launch. It will be the Europa Clipper. This will be from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy. The Heavy rocket will launch NASA's Europa Clipper to begin its journey to the Galilean moon of the same name. Europa, a moon believed to have saltwater ocean on its surface, is the fourth largest of Jupiter's 95 moons. It's also the sixth closest to the planet. The Falcon Heavy rocket will be flown in the fully expendable configuration, bringing an end to the side booster tail numbers B1064 and 65 after they flew on 5 previous Falcon Heavy missions. Sometime in November will be the launch of New Glenn 1. This rocket will launch the company's Blue Ring spacecraft, which is capable of both hosting and deploying multiple payloads. Blue Origin will attempt to land its first stage booster on a sea-based landing platform called Jacqueline. Then we have the Vulcan Centaur Dream Chaser 1 launch. This will be from Cape Canaveral, SLC-41. This would be a demonstration flight of the Sierra Space Dream Chaser cargo vehicle for the International Space Station. The Dream Chaser is a lifting body resupply spacecraft that will launch on top of a rocket and land on a runway. This will be in the VC-4L configuration with the 4 GEM 63XL solid rocket boosters, a long-length payload fairing, and 2 RL-10 engines on the Centaur upper stage. Then we have in spring of 2025 a New Glenn Escapade launch. This will be from Launch Complex 36 at Cape Canaveral. Blue Origin New Glenn rocket will launch a pair of identical spacecraft on NASA's Escape and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers, or Escapade mission. The 2 satellites, named Blue and Gold, will make a roughly 11-month journey to Mars, where they'll then perform about an 11-month science mission while orbiting the red planet. Blue and Gold were manufactured by Rocket Lab over the last 3.5 years and carry science experiments from the University of California, Berkeley. This launch of the New Glenn rocket will also feature a landing attempt on its landing barge in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, on satellite passages over the next couple of weeks, I've got short and sweet on this one. I've only got 2 for you. This is for the International Space Station. On October 12th, there'll be a minus 0.3 magnitude at 7:03 a.m. out of the southeast. It will reach its highest point at 7:04 at a paltry 11 degrees out of the southeast, and it will fall to the east-northeast at 10 degrees at 7:05. October 14th shows much better pass, brightness minus 2.1 magnitude at 6:59 in the morning out of the south-southwest. It will reach its highest point at 7:02 at 35 degrees, and it will fall to the east-northeast at 7:05. And that's it, Bill. That's all I got. Tiangong, no good passes this week, so those are the good ones. That's all we got. Back to you, KE5ICX.
This is on BB, Skynet. You'll be having additional check-ins. KG5BZW. Jay, you want to check in?
KG5BZW. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Check it out.
Okay, now we're at the end of the net. Does anybody have any additional comments before I close the net? This is N5BB, Skynet. We had 23 hams participating on the air. Thanks to all of you who checked in this evening. We hope you join us here this week, next week, and every Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. On this net, the sky is never the limit. We're always looking for net control stations for this and other DARC net. If you'd like to try your hand, send an email to nets@w5sc.org. You can follow topics and discussions about this net, astronomy in general, on Facebook and X, as well as audio, video streams, etc. Go to w5fc.org for all these things. Until next Saturday night, this is N5BB Bill. I'll be closing the net at 10:26 p.m. We're actually slightly early. Returning the net to normal amateur use, however, we next have the Afterglow net. Tom, who's going to do the Afterglow net this evening? K5ICX, N5BB, closing Skynet. Good night.
All right, well, thank you, Bill, and thank you for doing the net. I'm not sure who. I didn't put a designated person in place, so we'll just have to see if we get any volunteers. Otherwise, I guess I can do it from here. We'll have to give it a shot. At any rate, come back in about 5 minutes, and then we'll see if we can get a volunteer net control. 5 minutes, and then we start the Afterglow movie net. Tonight's movie, Missile to the Moon.
Yawn into the
be operational and all my circuits are functioning perfectly.
Afterglow Movie Net.
Okay, this is KE5ICX. I guess I'll be net control tonight. We'll see how this works out. I am on All-Star Link down in Corpus Christi, beautiful Corpus Christi. I'm on Ocean Drive, and yes, I can see the Gulf from here. It's pretty cool. It's great when you get to retire. Sometimes you get to retire in nice places. It takes a while to get there, and I guess Corpus is pretty nice. I like it so far. Now, a couple of things about using All-Star Link, especially when you're net control, that I discovered from last week. And I'm still working out the bugs here on my end as to what I can do to make the thing work correctly. So this is what can happen. When you speak, and we do on this net have an opportunity to talk for a very long time without the repeater interrupting, All-Star Link is not the same. It does interrupt, and if it has a long transmission from anybody, myself included, it says, I'm cutting off your audio. So there. So expect, you may want to occasionally drop carrier. Now I can get around it and re-log in, and then I can hear you, but I will miss you at least 1 or 2 sentences when that happens. So be aware of that. If I come back or I don't say anything, that's the reason why. I can't hear you because the All-Star link cut you off.
Can you crank it up? Can you crank it up a little bit?
Well, I'll speak louder. Does that help any?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it does.
All right, we'll see what we can do with it. This is new to me, too. Okay, well, tonight's movie that we're discussing is from 1958. It's called Missile to the Moon. It was independently made as an American black and white science fiction film drama by a few people we've never heard of before. It stars Richard Travis, Kathy Downs, and K.T. Stevens. These are a bunch of unknowns. The film was distributed by Astor Pictures in a remake of the earlier Astor Pictures distributed film Catwoman of the Moon, pretty terrible, from 1953. This film was released in late 1958 as a double feature with Frankenstein's Daughter. The spaceship blasts off from Earth with 5 aboard, but one of them is secretly a moon man returning home. He dies by accident during the trip to Luna. What the remaining 4 have waiting for them when they arrive on the moon will be well beyond their expectations. Huge rock creatures, giant lunar spiders, and a cave-dwelling civilization made up of beautiful women. So here's the story. It's not very long, nor does it need to be. 2 escaped convicts, Gary and Lon, or Beavis as Butthead, as we called them last night when we were watching this thing, are discovered hiding aboard a rocket by scientist Dirk Green, who then forces them to pilot the spaceship to the moon. Dirk, who is secretly a moon man, wants to return home. Dirk's partner, Steve Dayton, and Steve's fiancée, June, are accidentally trapped aboard just before the rocket ship blasts off from Earth. Moon man Dirk is later accidentally killed in a meteor storm during the lunar trip. Once they land on the moon, the spaceship's reluctant crew encountered deception and intrigue when they discover an underground kingdom made up of beautiful women and their sinister female ruler, the Lido. While on the moon, the Earthers encounter surface-dwelling, slow-moving, bipedal, Gumby-like large rock creatures that try to crush them. They must also contend with a cave-dwelling, not-so-giant spider that attacks them. And that's it. Whoever wrote this gave up after that with just 4 paragraphs, and not very long paragraphs, about this fine film. Okay, with that short synopsis and description of this fine film, I'll go ahead and take check-ins. If you'd like to join us this evening and discuss this film, or even if you haven't seen this film, that's okay too. You don't have to, you can pick some other film like that, Catwomen from the Moon, or whatever the heck the name of that movie was. Yeah, Catwomen of the Moon, which actually was a better movie when you think about it. And that's not saying much. Anyway, I'll take check-ins. Please come with your call sign, your name, and did you see the film? Missile to the Moon from 1958.
This isn't Bad BB. Yes, I saw the movie. Bill and Irving.
Kilo Echo File, Lima, Zulu Echo Randy, and Carlton, you need to crank your audio up, I can't hear you.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike, Tony and Dallas. Yes, I saw the movie.
NT5, bacon, lettuce, tomato. W5BLT, Bill, in Garland. And yes, I saw this fine film.
Bravo Zulu Whiskey, J near Winford, and yes, I saw the film. Kilo Charlie 5, Julie, Quebec, Jeff in Fort Worth on Echo Link, and I have not seen the film, but I do have it queued up on YouTube right now.
November Victor 5, Foxtrot, Virginia in Fort Worth. I have not seen the movie.
All right, the usual suspects have checked in. I will see what I can do with audio. I'm not sure I can do much here, but we'll see. I've got N5BB Bill in Irving. Yes, he saw the film. The next station, KE5LZE, I think it is. Did you happen to see our fine film?
Kilo Alpha Lima Zulu Echo, QSL.
Yep, I've got you. Call sign and your name, and did you see this missile to the moon?
Lima Zulu Echo. I don't know why your audio is just not there, man. It's not there. I don't know why. Maybe other people can hear you that well. I can't. I don't know why.
All right, I'll check you in. I'll see if there's anything I can do at my end. But let me go on down the list. I got NT5TM, Tony in Dallas. Yes, he saw the movie. W5BLT, that's Bill over in Garland. Yes, he saw the movie. K5BZWJ near Weatherford. Yes, he saw the movie. KC5JQ, Jeff in Fort Worth. No, he did not see the film. He's got it queued up and he's watching it now. Heaven help you. NV5F, Virginia in Fort Worth. No, she did not see the film. But don't worry, I'm sure there's a 2001 connection in there somewhere. Anyone else want to check in? Please come now with your call sign, your name, did you see our fine film?
Kilo Juliet, Golf Oscar Tango, John in Dallas. I did not see the film, but I just enjoyed this net.
Oh, well, thank you for saying so. Can I get your call sign again? It just cut out your call and it dropped a little bit, so I didn't get any of that. Could I get your call? Just tell me twice your name, and thanks for the comments.
Kilo Juliet 5, Golf Oscar Tango, KJ5 GOT, John in Dallas, John.
All right, perfect. I got you that time. KJ5GOT, John over in Dallas. No, he didn't see the film. No, you didn't see the film, but that's okay. All right, let's start at the top. The first thing we talk about is plot, if there is one, mainly, and then what we thought about it, and then how we think it could have been better is usually how this goes, or we just laugh and point. So we're going to start with Bill, N5BB. What did you think about the plot for our fine film?
This is inside BB. Ha 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 ha. That's me laughing and groaning. I'm pointing. This is, they threw all the tropes for late 50s science fiction and damsel in distress movies. They threw them all together in a mixer. They mixed them up, and then they spin them back out on screen. So you have damsel in distress. She's set up with her arms pulled up on a rack, and then there is the evil monster spider creature that's coming after her, and she faints. And she's struggling to break loose. Oh my. Oh my. I'm sorry. I mean, she could be tied to a railroad track, and Whoopley Snodgrass or whatever could be trying to run her over with a train, but it's about the same thing. You have moon people who speak English, have blue skin. They have dances, which are like belly dances. If you look at the credits, most of them are, in fact, I think they're all beauty contestants for various beauty contests. They're dressed up with weird headgear and costumes. They're on some place on the moon. How did they get there? Why? Who knows? They're in some area where you can walk in, and the air stays there in the caves. You just walk in from the vacuum outside. You walk in, and there's air. But at the end, you throw a bomb or something, and you break the thing, and the air all rushes out. You look outside, and there on the moon is blue sky and clouds. And by the way, there's gravity on the spacecraft, 1G, and on the moon, the gravity looks just the same as on the Earth. And you have a scientist or rocket builder who somehow started on the moon and went to the Earth. Why? How did he get there? Where was he from? How did he get to the Earth? A spacecraft? They built it on the moon? I didn't see any evidence of technology. Where did they go when it got to the Earth? This is just a whole bunch of things cobbled together and shown. There's no consistent storyline. Except cobbled together little vignettes, all of the tropes we're talking about here. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. They have a rocket. There's 4 spacesuits on it with helmets. Nobody knew there was going to be 4 people there. No, there's 5 spacesuits, I guess. 1, 2, 3.
No.
How do they know there's going to be that many? Because we had stowaways.
Time out.
It looked like a V-2 rocket at White Sands Missile Range. The music was very eerie. The rock creature was stupid. They fire guns in a vacuum. By the way, it's a bad idea to fire guns inside a spacecraft. There's a torch with no air. But suddenly there's air in the cave from nowhere. It makes absolutely no sense. It all makes no sense. Mind control. They threw that in.
Remote already in this mode. Node already in this node.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Are you done?
Yep, somebody else was keying up. But I'm done, and I can hear your sign on RF. In fact, BB. Thank you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Bill. I'm still learning this system. I don't know what's happening at the other end, but okay. I'll try and keep that in mind. Let's see. Let's go to Tony, NT5TM. Tony, I'm sure you have something super positive to say about this fine film. I can just feel it. Go ahead, from KE5ICX.
Well, I would say it's steady, except unlike the filmmakers, know you can't smell things in a vacuum. I would like to agree strongly with everything Bill said about the recycled tropes. Personally, I don't believe they were beauty contest winners, or I think they made all that up. There's just, I guess the only cliche they avoided, although they still went with an alternative cliche, was the good moon maiden, the one who helps them escape, didn't get to go with them and form a romantic couple with the good prisoner. No, she died on the moon too. They did avoid one kind of happy ending that they could have forced in there, I'm sure, with some more spider tentacles or something. But hey, then they had her heroically sacrificing herself in a different kind of cliche. So, yep, really glad I didn't have anything else too urgent to do. NT5TM.
Oh, I have a feeling this one's going to go fast tonight. W5BLT. Bill, your thoughts. Go ahead, from KE5ICX.
Well, it's going so fast I almost didn't make it back over to the radio in time. Okay, so I love old movies like these, and I know that they're bad going into it, so I don't expect much. And I've said this before. For whatever reason, I don't cut as much slack to the newer filmmakers, but, for these, I just love them because it reminds me of being a little kid watching these on TV. And of course, I don't get the visual effects, being blind, so I don't see how bad the visual effects are. I kept watching this, and I thought, I'm sure I've seen this plot before, and I hadn't read anything about it. And I remember the title, but I didn't remember this exact film. And it turns out the film I do remember was the Catwoman of the Moon. And so when I read the Wikipedia article after watching it, then it all made sense. This was kind of a remake or spoof done of this, of the Catwoman of the Moon. And I think, interestingly, the Catwoman of the Moon had built I think the women as beauty contestants or something, and then I think these guys set international on it, and they were going after the teenage market and the drive-in crowd. And so I think the expectations of entertainment back then was maybe lower. I don't know, but yeah, it definitely lacked a lot of stuff. And then I also liked how when they were getting in the rocket and they were counting down to 10 or from 10, and were flipping 10 switches, and it was just really hokey. It was so bad, I just kept laughing the whole way through. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, I think it'll go quick. W5BLC, Bill, back to you, Tom. And by the way, your audio is sounding good here, so I'm not sure. Maybe just some places with the, I don't know. here, or sometimes Echolink is cutting out on me as well, so it could be that too. But anyway, sounded good on the over the air though. W5BLT.
All right, well, thank you, Bill. And just to comment on the switches when they're doing the countdown and turning the engines on, I guess those switches that they're using are rheostats. They're used in theaters, old rheostats, the ones that you would have off to the stage side to bring the lights up and down for high amperage, high voltage, or high wattage, I should say. And boy, I think they were old even when that movie came out because they looked really, really, really worn out. But those were definitely stage-used switches from the past. Okay, next up is Jay, K5BZW. Jay, your comments. Tell us, what do you think about the plot to our fine film?
This Kilo Golf 5, Bravo Zulu Whiskey. Yeah, it really, it's a, I don't know, I didn't know really what to say because it is just a mashup of tropes and whatever. I should have read about, the other film that, well, how many of you, I know there's this, it seems like there's 3? I mean, if you include this one, or is it 2? I don't know. It's just that. I wish I wish I'd researched, like the other one to see if just the relationship to everything, because that's more interesting than the actual plot. I don't know. I kind of like the rock monsters, even though they were easily defeated once you knew whatever trick what that was. They didn't really tell what that was they used to defeat them. They just said, oh, you need this. And it's like, I'm rambling on here, but there's not much to really speak coherently about any of this. It's just, mindless drivel for the age it was made, I guess. That's all I can say. KG5BGW.
Well, Jay, I sympathize with you and empathize. It's difficult to even discuss this film because the scripts were so terrible. Oh, well. Okay. Let me jump to KC5JQ. Jeff, are you watching the film? Are you still there? Have you left and discussed? Tell us all.
Hey, Tom, KC5JQ here. Yeah, I'm in and out of the film. I've got it paused right now, listening to the commentary here. I'm excited. I'm going to have to watch this whole thing tonight, I think, just so I can absorb all of the greatness that it is, or that it sounds like it is. But I'll pass it back to you, Tom, and I'll just continue listening and watching the captions come up on the television. KC5JQ.
All right, thank you, Jeff. By the way, it's nice to hear from you again. I haven't talked to you in a couple of years. I did see you over on Facebook. I think I commented or something this morning. It's great to hear you back on the air. So keep watching. I hope this doesn't permanently destroy your interest in movies or in amateur radio by watching this film. Next up is Virginia, NV5F. She did not see the film, but I'm sure there's a 2001 tie-in. Did you see the cat women on the moon thing, maybe? I don't know. Does this sound like something intriguing for you to watch? Tell us.
Good evening. The time is 11 p.m.
Well, I haven't seen the other movie either. So I wasn't able to join last night. I was busy with doing something else, and I had kind of a weird, out-of-focus day today, and I probably should have done my homework because I definitely had time, but I did not. I'll have to listen a little more and see if I get intrigued enough to watch. But the enthusiasm of someone who's currently watching the movie is a little bit, makes it a little tempting. If it's just, and what the second Bill was saying made sense to me, and I think he was the one who said it. It just seems like the standard. The general expectation for entertainment back then was lower, and I agree with that. But 2001 came along in 1968 and changed everything. I'll keep listening. NV5F.
All right, Virginia. Next up is John, KJ5GOT. John, is this a movie that you would want to see? Would you join Jeff in watching this fine film? Asking for a friend. Oh, I think he ran off. I don't blame him. Does anyone else want to check in? Please come now with your call sign, your name, where, and did you see our fine film, Missile to the Moon?
Kilo Bravo 9, Sierra Oscar Kilo, shot in Fort Worth. Yes, I did see this film.
Okay, we picked up Sean, always the last guy in the room. KB9SOK, Sean, your thoughts on our the plot to our fine film. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is KB9SOK. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. Just to clarify for the first bill that, yes, they did build a rocket somehow, and he took it down there to see if Earth would be a suitable place for them to move to. And something happened to the rocket and he wasn't able to return. So, and apparently he did have people with him, but none of them lived. So yes, they did build a rocket somehow with no technology, it looked like. So many of these movies, from 50 on to, obviously the middle 60s, and almost the exact same scenario. Somebody builds a rocket, somebody interferes, they have to sneak onto the rocket, or they get trapped in the rocket, and then they go to the moon, or they go someplace else. We've just seen this so many times. And then, of course, in every single one of these, we've got the classic and most popular trope of these missile-to-the-moon movies. We've got to run into some asteroids. And obviously, somehow or another, for whatever reason, they didn't think it was a good idea to bolt everything down or strap it down in the rocket. So whatever it was fell on his head and killed him. But their first clue should have done something right when the guy was bleeding black blood. That should have told him that he wasn't human, that he was from the moon. And apparently, I'm pretty sure, I thought they said, I may have misunderstood this, but when they first got to the moon, he said, welcome to Atlantis. So they kind of insinuated that was Atlantis. And they kind of insinuated that they were their own people that grew up on the moon,
that there used to be lots of oxygen, and it was slowly disappearing. That's why they needed to fly someplace else. But yet it was strange that they seemed to know about other possible planets they could fly to. They had that kind of technology, but yet they couldn't build another rocket or know what it looked like on Earth from as close as they are. But yet they seem to have, according to them, advanced science, but yet they didn't. And apparently it's only the women that had the mind control. And that's why they killed off all the men. So I don't know. It was a very strange movie. The only thing I'll give this one is we had the, different than all the other rockets to the moon mine we've seen, is it had the big twist of the guy was from the moon instead of just us going to the moon and finding creatures and having to fight and escape back to Earth. So, yes, this was a pretty common theme. And I agree with Virginia that, obviously 2001 changed everything. And after that, we started getting something other than just rockets to the moon and journey to the center of the Earth. Anyway, anything else to add? So back to that. KB9, that's okay.
All right, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that and your comments. Okay, so here's some comments on your comments as well. The whole thing with all females, that was a bit weird. Let's wipe out all the guys, but they looked a little perturbed anyway. Why were they there, and where was the air from? I mean, it would have been more interesting to talk about their society and how they got there instead of just saying, hey, we're just going to take you over, or whatever the heck it is. And the guy from the moon going to Earth, why did he head back, and what was the mission and all that? That didn't make any sense. I wasn't quite sure. Or I could have fallen asleep, which I did do. I fell asleep during the movie. And then I'd like to know how Beavis and Butthead got out of prison so easily and then ended up on the spaceship so quickly. They had this little, 98-cent master lock that takes care of the electrical fence, and all you have to do, it didn't even look like it had been broken. It looked like it was open already, and somebody forgot to lock it or something, because it didn't look broken. And heaven forbid they go and destroy a lock, a perfectly good lock on this big budget movie. We wouldn't want to do that. So I don't know. It was pretty stupid, and they were pretty terrible as well. But they were there to keep us entertained, I guess. And that's another thing. You always got to have the goofy guys that are always locked on the spaceship with you, who are goobers of the first intent. I don't know. Just kind of really weird. Let's see. And who doesn't love the little adorable spider, the stuffed spider, which, by the way, was used in the previous film as well. I don't know. I found the whole premise just sort of lacking in so many ways, and I don't know. Oh, and the meteor shower, of course, you got to have that. That's very important. That's where all the excitement comes from. So let's do that as well. Not much to add. Jeez. Terrible. All right, let's go to the next section. Might as well. It's 11:09. I don't think we're going to make it to midnight on this one, but we'll try. Next up is characterization. What do we think about the moon men and the moon women and the nautical astronaut stuff going on? We'll start with Bill, N5BB. Bill, what did you think about that? Characterization and acting.
This is N5BB. Well, to me, this is just a spoof. I don't know if it meant to be a spoof, but it was just kind of a spoof. And so I don't know if I should take it seriously. I mean, they acted their parts You know, the damsel in distress, she did that acting. Her fiancé, he acted like he was under mind control from the moon lady. So they went through the parts. They did those characters. Was it believable? No, because the whole story was unbelievable. It's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to take them seriously because it's so goofy. It's a little bit like saying, if you're watching the Batman TV show, were they acting well? Well, they were acting like the cat lady, and they were acting like Robin. But, I mean, how about them dancing the belly dance out there in preparation for this weird wedding? With you know, bongo drums or whatever. Am I supposed to take that as serious acting? I don't know how to rate this, Tom. I mean, the characterization and the acting. It's also over the top. It's just it's just so weird. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Is what it is. Like, and it's. I don't know if they purposely made it just as a laugh, or whether they were really serious. I can't believe they were at all serious about this. So I guess I have a really hard time reading the acting and the characterization in this kind of movie. I can't base it on reality. In fact, BB, sorry.
Oh my, well, I don't disagree. This was a tough one to watch. I won't kid you. This was a tough one to watch. Everything about it was just second rate. We try, but we do what we can. Okay, next up is Tony, NT5TM. Tony, you want to talk about characterization or something else?
Well, you know, it could have been worse. I can't mostly remember the characters' names, but at least I could mostly tell them apart. Usually, though not always. So it doesn't quite achieve like basic competence, but it was edging towards it. It almost kind of got there. Yeah, I mean, of course, not that any of the characters were interesting in any way, but at least I could usually tell them apart most of the time. But of course, yeah, what can you say about somebody? The most interesting thing I think was that they seemed to want to call their leader Lido, which to me is just, I only know like 10 words of Italian, but that's one of them. All it doesn't mean is beach, or, you know, like let's go to the beach, or wherever the water hits the land. That's the Lido. So I looked that up before the net, and apparently in British English, that's a generic slang sometimes for swimming pool too. So we are led by the beach or the swimming pool. Must be a very hot climate there. It must need to swim a great deal. But yeah, characters bad, plot bad, and I thought we're all going to say the effects are bad too. NG5TM.
Okay, very good. Next up is Bill. Bill, W5BLT. What did you think of characterization and the acting in our fine film? Please go ahead.
Well, we had Dirk and the Moon Guy. We had Steve and fiance. And that was kind of interesting because they're, like, hey, somebody's aboard this rocket. They these guys did their parts. I don't know that they took it real seriously. I can remember my dad talking about going to see the movie matinees and Flash Gordon, and they just laughed at it because the storylines were stupid, or they just suspended reality and enjoyed. I think we forget growing up with TV that motion picture was a big thing. Kids grew up, in the 40s and stuff. As little kids, you grew up with radio. And then movie theater was just something you went to. Maybe not every household had a TV. Anyway, that was just kind of an aside. Maybe I should have saved that for a third round, but I'm struggling with the characters. Of course, you had the women on the moon and their evil queen. The two escaped convicts. Those guys, that kind of made me laugh. The one guy, was going to be out 6 months, and then he finds himself going to the moon, and they're concerned like how they're going to get back. I probably my favorite characters are the Rock and the Spider, I suppose. They make a lot of noise there, but I don't know that they really thought they were doing some kind of Shakespearean acting here. I hope not, anyway. All right, that's all I got. W5BLT, back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Bill. Next up is Jay, K5BZW. Jay, you're going to have to fess up and cough up something on characterization. I know you got it in you. What'd you think of characterization?
This is K Kilo Golf 5, Bravo Zulu Whiskey. So I guess oddly enough, I would say the most interesting characters, that we got to see were actually the women on the moon. Even the prison, those that escaped from prison, I didn't really find that interesting. They all followed some sort of trope that was really easily predictable, but I couldn't really predict how the women were going to be, and I actually kind of oddly liked the weird interactions cases for any of this. So much not explained and whatnot, but I don't know, the Alpha versus Lotto thing was kind of interesting. I'd say the Alpha had the most, well, I don't know, there's Alpha, there's Lotto, there's the one that took interest to I would say, brains of the prisoner escaping. Those are, I am having some trouble. Let me reset. I guess what I'm saying is, even though there wasn't really hardly any character growth or anything, I guess I'm going kind of back on the plot. The second half with the women proved to be rather oddly entertaining, even though, it was more, because the just seen so many times, like, how many times have there been like here, super genius, the brilliant businessman slash planner slash whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, just seen over and over. It was, yeah, I mean, the trope is dumb to begin with. I mean, sure, yeah, you guys and whatnot. That, very, very bad to their own little friends, but also taking advantage of a lot of people here. Tesla, among others. Nikolai Tesla, I mean. Let me, just the other, I just wasn't expecting that, and that I have to say that made the film actually kind of bearable, even though I was watching it at 1.5 times speed. So, I think most of that, all of my comments so far were actually on the plot and characterization. But there isn't much to say. I just thought the characters were interesting enough to make it. Actually, I didn't hate the film. It was stupid and kind of unwatchable, but not as bad as other films. So, anyway, I'll leave it at that. KG5PCW.
All right, thank you, Jay. I'm sorry, I apologize on your call sign. I should know that. It's Kilo Golf 5, BZW. Just tired today. Next up is, let's see, you talked to Jeff. Virginia didn't see the film. John did not. He's gone. So let's go to Sean, KB9SOK. Sean, your comments on characterization. Go ahead, from KE5I6.
I believe you called me. Yeah, not much to add about the characterizations here. They were, everyone's already said it, pretty much the tropes. Not really deep acting here, but I don't blame the actors for this. There wasn't a whole lot there to work with. I do think they did try to put some effort into it, but yeah, no, pretty generic characters. Not, like I said, not really any deep acting, but it also, I wouldn't say the acting was horrible. I don't blame them. I think my favorite character, and I think the best actor was probably the Rock people. They nailed it perfectly. They didn't have any lines to say, they just had to walk funny. So yeah, that's it on this one. Back to net, KB9SO.
All right, well, thank you, Sean. Yeah, I don't know. Not have much to say about this either. The acting. Oh God. Although I have to admit, I saw even worse acting today. I watched The Green Hornet, the 1940s serial, the Tunnel of Death, I think it was called, or something like that. Surprisingly, Svengoolie was also on tonight. Well, it's still on. In fact, they're doing their marathon thing. And one of the guys who was one of the terrible actors was actually featured in tonight's movie, Son of Frankenstein, I think it was. So the same guy showed up acting equally as terrible as he did in the Tunnel of Disaster, or whatever the hell the thing was. At any rate, I don't know. I'm not sure what to say or what to think about it when everything is so bad. I think the actors become uninspired, or they attempt to power drive their way through these things, but it wasn't very good. Character development sucked. It's difficult when you've got that and an uninspired story to really pull it through, and this thing just has nothing going for it. There's no enthusiasm, nothing. It's just a pedestrian film that they produced for kids. I don't know. There's a lot of talking, not a lot of action. I think that its only purpose in life was to keep some kids babysat in a theater on a double feature. That was its only purpose. It served nothing else, and yet, I don't know, geez, just terrible. Oh well. But somebody took the time and the effort to actually colorize it. Why? I have no idea. But there must have been a reason that they would actually sit through and colorize this film and watch all these scenes over and over again to make sure the color worked and watch these terrible acting, these terrible stories. Oh well. Okay. Let's see. 11:26, so we can do the final round. Let me go ahead and go down the list and see if anybody's got anything they want to add. Or anything else, and I will include those who did not see the film on this. So we'll start at the top. Bill, N5BB, what do you got? Anything on special effects or anything we haven't covered so far? Go ahead.
This is N5BB. Not much, Tom. I like Tony's comment. You know you're in trouble. By the way, you know you're in trouble when you get a comment like this. It could have been worse. We might want to argue whether it could have been worse, but I don't think it's worth arguing about. The production values were okay for a 50s science fiction movie, although I thought the spider was horrible. I thought the blue makeup and all the moon people was well done, but why? They look like humans. They speak English. They act reasonably human. Why do they have blue skins? I mean, they could have had 3 legs. They could have had eyes in the middle of their head. A third eye. Why have blue skin? Just like on one of the Star Trek episodes. No reason. Just to make it obvious they're not from Earth. But, I don't know. It could have been worse. No other comments. Since IBB.
All right, thank you, Bill. Well, let me tell you this. Now, this was not originally a color movie. This was a black and white film. It was colorized by somebody or people with no lives and nothing better to do. I've also noticed there's a bunch of science fiction 50s movies that have been colorized recently, I think, to, for whatever reason, public domain film. Somebody's just doing this for fun, and this was one of those films, I think. I don't know how much fun it is to colorize, but I don't think we know if they actually had blue skin or it was implied in the film anywhere. Maybe they mentioned it, I don't recall. I fell asleep several times during this fine film. Okay, next up is Tony. Tony, NT5TM. Tony, your final word, special effects, anything at all. And I know, you've already said, it could have been worse. That compliments of Bill, one of the most memorable things we will remember from this film. Maybe.
No, I think we have beaten it to a pulp. I just want to thank you for being that control in this interesting and experimental way. I think it's worked, pretty well. It's not had the fast responsiveness that, we might want for passing traffic, but I'm glad everyone's been patient, and I'm glad you're here and staying up with us in T5TM.
Oh, well, thank you, Tony, and I've enjoyed it. I try. I got to get out usually in the morning, I do my running, but I have a new group down here, and my old group starts, interestingly, on weekends. They start late at 7 a.m., but My new group down here starts at 4 and 5 a.m. I find that's difficult to do after a Saturday night doing this. I'm not sure I'm going to do real well trying to get up at 4 and 5 a.m. tomorrow. There's two different groups that run at different 1 hour difference in time, so that's so early. At any rate, that's my story. Bill, W5BLT. Bill, your comments. What do you think? Anything at all? Go ahead.
Okay, well, when I was reading and doing some research after I watched this movie, it was talking about being the remake, or kind of based on the Catwoman of the Moon, and it mentioned it was in black and white and then 3D, so that led me to go look up the first 3D movie in 1922. But it was just interesting, and I know I'm going a little bit off on a tangent, but I remember when they had one of the first 3D movies broadcast on TV. It was some type of monster movie. I can't remember the name of it, but you could go to the drugstore. I think it was in the early 80s or late 70s. You could go to the drugstore and you bought 3D glasses. And even though I was blind, my parents still got me a pair of 3D glasses so I could wear them and just have the experience of knowing what the cardboard glasses were like. So, and that was fun back then. But anyway, it was just kind of interesting. It was just that blurb kind of reminded me of that, and I don't really know what that would have looked like back then. But anyway, those are always those things I wonder if somebody's totally blind, because that's, I guess, a black and white movie, but obviously it wouldn't probably have the same effect as the ones we have today. But I just thought that was very interesting. It, so to speak, caught my eye. Pun definitely intended. Back to you, Tom. W5BLT.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill, and thank you for putting up with us, because we talk about these things and we talk about the visuals with it, and I know you've got to kind of interpret everything along the way. But some of these movies are terrible, and they look terrible too. So it's kind of, oh well. Well, you're in for the ride. Not much I can tell you. Next up is Jay, KG5BZW. Jay, you got any parting shots you want to give us? Go ahead.
KG5BZW. So, this is normally for special effects. I have to admit, even though, this looked terrible and was not terribly well animated, it was still surprisingly, it surprised me how well it was animated, even though it was, I had to wonder how it was done. It was at least good enough for me to wonder. Now, that doesn't mean much, because I could easily be fooled by whatever, or just not know whatever. But it was a bad fire, but it was not as bad as I thought it could have been. I don't know. I did like the rock people. I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of... Where did Gumby come from anyway? It just kind of reminded me of Gumby. Even though Gumby came later, I know, but whatever. And of course, it's already been talked about the set for the inside of the ship and whatnot. And the logs and whatever. I don't know. I did watch the black and white version of this, so yeah, I didn't know there was a 3D version. That is kind of interesting. Wonder if there is an archive of that. that's one of the things that, it kind of brings up a point. So a lot of these old movies, they probably, some of them, some of them are, budgeted to have that. I wonder where you would find the 3D versions of some of these old movies that were made for, like whatever. Kind of side point, but I don't have much else to add, so and next person, KG5BG30.
All right, thank you, Jay. Next up is Jeff, KC5JQ. Jeff, you got anything you want to add? Maybe you saw the rest of the film. Maybe you've left and found better things to do. I don't know. What do you think? Is this movie living up to expectations at all?
Well, Tom, KC5JQ here. I had to admit, I've actually paused the movie so I could listen to the commentary on the net here. It is quite entertaining. I have to say, when I pulled up the title in YouTube, I was very surprised to see that there was a colorized version. But I'm a throwback to an old time. I think if the movie was originally done in black and white, you gotta go with the black and white version. It just doesn't register for me that you can make that into a color version and be true to the original art. So I'm gonna wait till after the net and finish the movie so I can give it my full attention and try and get through the hour and 17 minutes of this fine production. So and thanks Tom earlier. It has been a while since I've been on, and it's good to hear everybody and good to see some familiar call signs on. So I will hand it back to you, KC5JQ.
Whiskey 5BLT.
Okay, very good, Jeff, and thank you for checking in. Please do so next week, too, and let us know what you think. W5BLT, Bill, you have a comment?
Yeah, sorry, Tom, but the blind guy wants to comment on 3D. I wanted to clear up some confusion. It's the Catwoman of the Moon, at least when I did a Google search, that's on 3D and Blu-ray, it looks like. At least from what I found. So not this movie that we watched, but the Catwoman of the Moon. 25BLT.
Yeah, okay, well, sure enough. There's even a 3D review of the film on here I'm looking at. Amazing. Just amazing. And if there's a Blu-ray version of this film, too? What are these people thinking? They're out of their minds. But, okay. All right, very good. Next up is Virginia, NV5F. Virginia, you're going to watch this film, aren't you? If you're still there. You may have already wandered off. I don't know. You tell me.
I'm still here. I do have a long, unscheduled day tomorrow where I could probably squeeze this in. Let's see, my parting shots are, Tom, maybe you should try taking Sunday off. I've heard that the human body does pretty well if it's given a day of rest. And the progress can actually be better if you give yourself some time off. That would be my very unsolicited suggestion. So you can stay up and enjoy all the fun with us on Saturday nights and not worry about Sunday morning. Sunday's also the day of rest. see. Yeah, I may give this one a shot just for some cheesy entertainment value. And I guess my only other parting comment is, since the topic of, I guess, all of these terms that we talk about, or concepts, color, black and white, 3D, could not make a whole lot of sense to someone who's been blind their entire life. I am just so Bill W5BLT, if you ever want anyone to make an attempt at using analogy to make any of these concepts a little less confusing or confounding, I would be happy to give that a shot if you are interested at any point. And I guess the last thing is, I believe I am up to run Skynet next week, pending that I need to receive a lot of documents and get myself ready for that. But that means I'll probably stick around for Afterglow, and I could conceivably run Afterglow next week. Or I would also be happy, since we're getting a pretty good crowd in here every week, I would be happy to take a prospective new net control and take them through the procedure, which is very easy, especially on this net, of running the net. It's very, very easy, and maybe I could tag team net control with somebody and get them used to running it, so maybe we could have a rotation of 3 or even ideally 4 people running this net every month. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks, Tom, for running the net. I know it's late and you got to get up early, so I will finish here in V5F.
Well, thank you, Virginia, and thank you for volunteering. I do appreciate that as well. We'll work through it. We'll see if we can. We used to kind of leave it up to people to do the net control thing, and I don't mind doing it. I mean, there are advantages to it. As I've always said, it's fun to be the last guy to speak, because then you can have a perspective on what everybody else said, and you become the smart guy because, hey, you thought of all the things everybody came up with, but you really didn't. You went, I don't remember that in the movie, but sounds good, but maybe it is. And then go Google it and say, yes. And then, because you forget things in the movie, like, especially when you fall asleep, which I frequently do. So, at any rate, that's the way it is. Well, we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can get some folks in there. And make sure, please, let me. I think I've got you on the list and everything. I do a lot of copy and pasting on lists, and sometimes I have an older list, and you may not always appear. So yell at me if you think you should be getting something that you haven't, so I can make sure I can do it. I will try and make a conscious effort to make sure that that happens from now on, and that you get the stuff that you need. And maybe we can get a few people to participate as net control. It's really fun anyway. Okay, next up is John, KJ5GOT. He may be gone. He was last time around. But if you're there, John, what do you think? You want to see this film? From KE5ICX.
This is John, KJ5GOT. I think I will pass on this film. I don't have anything else to add. I really just like listening to this net. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, I think it's a wise choice. There's not much to this film to watch, but there are people that work hard to do that. I also know there are people that cut themselves too. So, but John, thank you again for making comments and checking in on the net. It's always nice to know that folks are out there watching, listening, and doing all that fun stuff. Last and certainly not least, at least on those checked in, is KB9SOK. Sean, your final comments. Go ahead.
KB9SLK. Yeah, no, out that here, the special effects were, typical, I guess, for that time. Once again, we got a rocket that's bigger on the inside than the outside, kind of that classic stuff. And then, yeah, we've already touched on the whole no gravity, or regular gravity, and global spacesuits, and all that. So I guess there's no reason to pick on it too much more on that respect. I'll just say it's kind of interesting, as everybody was talking about, back then, maybe there wasn't a lot expected with these double features. They were just kind of thrown out. Some of them were probably typically throwaway movies. They just needed 2 movies. So it's kind of interesting. Sometimes these B movies can be good. We've seen some good ones, actually. Fortunately, this isn't one of them. As everybody said, that it could have been worse. And by far, we've seen worse. So, yeah. But what's kind of interesting is it seems like back then, these double features, you a lot of times had these throwaway movies, and, we kind of got away from that, I think, once we kind of hit the late 60s, early 70s, to some extent. But now we're kind of actually, in a way, seeing a return to it. We've watched some movies very recently on Tubi and a few of those other services that are making movies now, but they're very cheaply made, just thrown together, poor scripts, and so, once again, it's just to draw people in and to watch the service so they can make money in advertising. So I think a lot of ways we're kind of almost seeing that come back again, which is not a good fad. So, anyway, looking forward to the next one. Thanks, Tom, for doing the net, and be looking forward to next week. This is KB9SLK.
Very good. Thank you, Sean, for your comments. And I don't disagree with you on that. I made this comment before, too. Especially in 2022, during COVID, there seemed to be a number of people that had made some films. And these are folks that are originally film students and had gotten involved or wanted to try something because they had the time to do it, all those things. And there actually have been a few good films that have come out of it. All of them low budget, of course. And now you don't have to pay for the massively expensive cost of film, which has always been a major barrier for people getting in and making films. Virtually all of your cost went into the actual filming part. Well, now all you need is a camera. And as we saw in one instance, the Japanese film, it was all filmed on an iPhone. The whole film amazingly looked good, and it was a pretty good movie, too. So barriers to entry are small now. You just got to take and use some talent to have a lot of talent to make it look good and sound good and be good. But it's possible. And, of course, as Teddy Sturgeon once said, 90% of everything is crap. I'd like to say it's probably 99% of everything is crap. So keeping that in mind while you're, when you're watching these films and realizing that, and then occasionally getting once in a while a good film, or some aspects of the film that are good, such as the one with the star fights or whatever they were. Terrible stories, didn't make any sense, and put together here in Dallas, but the acting was good. The acting was very acceptable. The audio was acceptable. The quality was acceptable. Just a terrible script. It went nowhere. Imagine if this guy as a director had a decent script, or would accept a good script. Could he do a good movie? Yeah, I think he could. At least the potential to do so. Let's see, final comments on the film. The spaceship was cheesy. It had a lot of heavy stuff. Who carries a big iron locker on board the spaceship, and what do you put in there? 4 spacesuits, of course. And then pegboard pressure hatches that are square. Who does that? And somebody that doesn't know how to make round hatches in the prop department, obviously. So you make a square one out of pegboard. So why? I don't know. Who knows? Let's see, what else? cardboard spaceship. Yeah, returned inexpensive. I mentioned that, and you mentioned it. I made that comment. Okay. I don't have anything else, gang. Anyone else want to check in or have any comments? Please come with your call now. All right, hearing none. Next week's movie, since we're going to do it, is called 400 Days. And this short synopsis says, 4 astronauts are sent to on a simulated mission to a distant planet to test the psychological effects of a deep space travel. Locked away for 400 days, the crew's mental state begins to deteriorate when they lose all communications with the outside world. That is next week's movie. Science fiction fantasy, it says. 1 hour, 30 minutes, so we should be just barely bearable, be able to sit through it. But that's it. That's next week's movie. I'm going to say 7-3 to everybody. I probably will go to bed. Yeah, it's 11:52. It is time to go to bed. Oh boy, oh joy. See you all next time, next week. And I'll see if I can get everything out on time in the morning sometime when I get up. See you all. Have a great evening. This is KE5ICX. Clear.
KE5ICX, KF50MH.
KF50MH. Go ahead.
Well, good to hear you on the air, my friend. That means you found a radio or a phone, one or the other. Just wanted to say it all. Hope it moves forward well.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. I'm using this All-Star Link Raspberry Pi thing here that Bill recommended, Bill Brady, and it seems to work pretty well. I've got the big gun radio sitting here that is hooked to it with it at absolutely minimum power.
Well, if Bill recommended it, it's got to be good. he knows just about everything there is to know. I appreciate that, and maybe I better let you go to bed and get some sleep tonight. KF5, go with me.
All right, thank you, Ron. And I managed to cut the radio off too in the process. I was looking for something and then knocked something over. Go figure. All right, take care, my friend, and we'll talk soon. This is KE5ICX. I'm also clear.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening, Tom. Get some sleep. Good to talk to you. KF5, go with me. Be clear.